Art isn't only a painting. Art is anything that's creative, passionate, and personal. And great art resonates with the viewer. Art is a personal gift that changes the recipient. The medium doesn't matter. The intent does. Seth Godin. I love video games. Ever since little 7-year-old me was gifted with his first PlayStation 3, a copy of Guitar Hero 3, and Lego Star Wars, I was addicted. If I have free time, I'll likely be playing video games. In recent years, my passion for this medium has increased tremendously. Learning how games are made, learning the subtle and hidden stories that a game will tell, and paying attention to those smaller details. Video games are the reason I know what I want to do with my life. However, there's a margin of people that don't believe that games can tell a meaningful story, or that they can change people's lives. My dad only recently has come to this conclusion, and he's still speculative about this, believing that games like The Last of Us are the only games with worthwhile stories. And while those games are immersive in their own right, they still play out like a movie. It's straightforward and in-your-face storytelling, which is fine, but I believe video games have so much more to offer. Games like Shadow of the Colossus, BioShock, or Silent Hill 2 tell these hidden symbolic stories throughout, some where you quite literally will not know the story unless you infer things about the environment. These hidden stories with deep, complex lore will always be more engaging than any straightforward linear story to me. A game where the gameplay services the story, and not the other way around. A game that truly and fully immerses me in its world. And no game does this direction better than Bloodborne. The city of Yharnam, known for its medical use of blood found from ancient godlike beings called Great Ones beneath the city. It is a city that was corrupted by said blood. It turned man into a beast, caused disease, and drove the citizens into a bloodlusted frenzy. It is a hunter's job to purge the streets of said beast. However, their use of blood brings them closer to beasthood with every fight. Your character goes to Yharnam for a blood transfusion. You wake up in a hospital on the night of the hunt, only to see that any other patient has been ravaged and killed by a beast. You encounter this beast, where you will likely die and wake up in a place known as the Hunter's Dream. You gather weapons and return to the waking world. You slay the beast, go outside, and are free to explore the city of Yharnam. Bloodborne has a gothic horror setting. The city's buildings are tall and creepy as if it was from a Tim Burton movie. The streets are covered in blood and corpses. The beast-plagued citizens roam the streets, waiting for you. You see piles of bodies being burned and mutated people in the sewers. Every area in this game feels lived in. It feels scary in a different way no matter where you go. When being attacked by the people of Yharnam, they swarm you and leave you trapped within their attacks. The sewer corpses come to life when you move past them. Every area and detail in this game is meticulously placed. You go into a church and see statues of these weird alien-like creatures, foreshadowing the Lovecraftian turn the game will soon take. The further you progress, the night evolves with you, eventually reaching a peak where the game goes full Lovecraftian. These giant eldritch beings cling to the walls, barely noticing your presence. Nightmarish creatures that your character shouldn't be able to comprehend show up, and they truly sink in the feeling of dread. The feeling that in this world you do not matter. You are either food for this world, or you will work for it. Wait, how do we even comprehend the old gods? Lovecraft has always been a hard thing to translate into anything other than a book, because how can you show the incomprehensible on a screen? How do you portray the fear of the unknown, the fear of which we do not nor cannot understand? Allow me to introduce single-handedly the coolest gameplay concept of all time: insight. You gain insight by seeing and defeating beasts, and by consuming Madman's knowledge. With every insight you gain, you get closer to the eldritch truth. Over time, you see things that you could not before. The aforementioned amygdalas that cling to the walls, the cries of a wailing baby in the distance, and even certain enemies. But even with this, there are some things that you cannot fully grasp, such that the less ignorant you become, the more dangerous these threats are. Frenzy is a mechanic directly tied to your insight count. It causes you to lose health and eventually erupt with blood whenever you see something you're not supposed to. The more insight you have, the faster this frenzy builds up. No matter what you do, you will never be able to fully comprehend what you're seeing. You will reach a breaking point, and you will succumb to the frenzy. You know what else I love other than video games? Music. Music is something everyone can connect and relate to, even if you're not good at being musical. Music makes you feel. Music sets the tone. Music is the essence of how you want your story to be. Games will tend to have these massive soundtracks with more than 100 songs, each dedicated to a specific moment in the game. In contrast, Bloodborne's soundtrack is very small, with only about 50 songs. The background music of this game is almost non-existent, with only the screams of beasts being heard in most areas of the game. The only time you hear music is in the Hunter's Dream, where a soft lullaby will play that lets you know that you're safe there. You will also hear music in Yahar Ghul, where this creepy choir sings a melody to contact a great one named Murgo. And most famously, boss fights. The boss's soundtracks in this game are the highlight of everything. Real quick, I'm gonna go off script because I kept trying to reword this point in a way that would make it sound original to me, but it never had the emphasis where I heard the original point from. So I think I'm just gonna play the original clip, and yeah, you should definitely check out this guy's video on it. I think he does an incredible job talking about Bloodborne.
This game's music is oppressive in its atmosphere. If the accompanying track to a major boss in Dark Souls is a choir of warriors heralding your eventual victory through battle, Bloodborne's musical scoring is a sea of tortured souls wailing out to signal the coming of the end.
My personal favorite of all these comes in the form of my favorite boss fight in this game, Ludwig.
You were at my side all along. My true mentor, my guiding moonlight.
And this moment is so cool! Bloodborne is one of the few games I would call a perfect game, where every mechanic, every detail is expertly woven into the experience. Bloodborne makes you feel fear, it makes you feel terror, it makes you uncomfortable, and it makes you question everything. With such a powerful impact on the player, and leaving you with so many things to interpret, what makes it so different from art? Thanks for watching this. This is my first ever attempt at like a fully edited video, so probably not up to the quality of stuff you're used to, but hey, I spent a lot of time on it. I spent a lot of hours getting footage. Yeah, it was a lot of fun to make. You should go check out Vadi Vidya. He helped a lot with me getting some actual lore stuff down and, you know, making some points on my video. And yeah, you should also check out Shinigami Eater. He's the one there I got that clip from, and he's really good. He easily has my favorite review of Bloodborne ever, so yeah, thank you very much, and have a good rest of your night.